Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for my palette rotation series and I am super excited about it. I have been loving this project. So for those of you who don't know what this project is, I randomly select 5 palettes from my collection and my goal is just to use them once for an everyday look throughout the month that they're chosen. So it's super simple, super laid back. I only have to reach for the palette once, but I do have to reach for just that palette and I have to create a look that I wear for the day. So those are just kind of my basic rules for that. I hope it makes sense. It's super simple, but I have my 5 palettes here, and what I like to do in these updates is not only talk about the 5 palettes that I had in for this project, but talk about some other palette usage as well. So I will go over how many palettes I used, any pans I hit, my most used palette if I have one, and then we will get into talking about these palettes and draw for next month. So if that interests you, then keep on watching. Alright, so before we get into my actual update for this project, I want to talk about some of my palette usage from this past month. So I have 70 palettes total in my collection. I do not have any new ones to share with you this month. I did order one, but it hasn't arrived yet, so hopefully that will come before the next update. But I currently have my 70 palettes still, and out of those 70, I used 20 of them this past month, which I know is not that great, but in my defense, there was like a week or so that I wasn't really wearing makeup, and so I just didn't really get like the full use out of my collection. But I did use 20 palettes, which isn't a great number, but not too bad. And out of those 20, the one that I used the most was my I Heart Revolution Beauty and the Beast palette. So I used this one 4 times this last month, and here is what this one looks like on the inside. I am trying so hard to hit pan on Magic Mirror. I am determined to hit it before my next update, so sometime in July I'm going to hit pan on that shade, but I was not able to do it before this update. But I really did enjoy reaching into this palette. It's one that I do really enjoy, but sometimes I do kind of forget to reach for it, but trying to hit pan on a shade really motivates me, so I did reach for this one 4 times this month, which I thought was pretty good. And now we can talk about the shades that I did hit pan on this month. So my first one comes from my Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. So in this palette, I hit pan on the shade Citrus right here. So this is my second pan in this palette. So here you can see the shade up close. I hope it is in focus. But this was just a really nice all-over lid shade. It isn't the most opaque and pigmented, but it did offer a nice little shine to the lids, and it was really nice for everyday looks. I really did enjoy it. It definitely did not take me that long to hit pan on this, but I am of course happy to have a new pan in my collection. Then the second palette I hit pan on, I think this is the second month in a row this has been in for pan, but I hit pan on the dark brown matte shade right here. So here you can see this pan. This one is a shade that I like to use either in the outer corner or as a winged liner. So it is a little bit more of a targeted area where I hit pan, but it still is a really nice shade, and once again, very happy to have a new pan in my collection. So this makes 46 pans out of 975 shadows in my collection, which brings my pan percentage to 4.72%, which I am pretty happy with. My very base goal for this year is to hit pan on 50 shades total in my collection.
So I am obviously 4 away from that goal, so I don't anticipate having any problem doing that because it is only halfway through the year and I only have 4 more shades left to go. My kind of secondary goal is to hit 2 pans every month. So far I have done that, but we will see as the year continues, but I am pretty happy with the progress that I have made on my collection so far. So now that we have talked about my palette usage, how many palettes I used, how many shades I pan on, we can get into the update you are all here for, my palette rotation update. So I will jump into sharing the 5 palettes that I had in for the month of June and the looks I created. So if that interests you, then keep on watching.
Alright, so getting into the 5 palettes that I had in for the month of June, I'm just going to go right down this pile I have here. So this first one up is my Maybelline Nudes palette. So this is obviously a very cool tone palette. So I did create a sort of gray tone look for this past month, so I will insert a picture of what that one looked like. So for this look, I used these 2 grays in the crease, outer corner, and then deepened it up a little bit with the matte black shade. And then I packed the second shade all over the lid, put this shade in the inner corner, and it was just a super simple look. This palette is the oldest one in my collection, and I noticed, especially this past time using it, that the quality has really gone downhill. So I think by the end of the year, I've been saying this for the past couple of years, but I think I'm finally ready to declutter this one at the end of the year. And I do have another palette coming that will replace this palette, so I think I am ready to finally say goodbye to this. I was hoping to have a few more pans in it before I actually decluttered it, but these shades are very hard to hit pan on, so I don't think that is going to happen, but it's been a good palette while I had it, but I think it is time. The quality is just not really there anymore, which does make me sad, but I think I'm ready. Next up, we have my Wet n Wild Pacman palette, the Game Over palette. So here is what this one looks like. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created with this palette. So this one was obviously my most colorful. It was a very fun look to create. I will be honest, I was working from home this day and decided to just have a little fun playing with my makeup. So I went a little bolder than I probably would have if I was actually going in to work, but I did run a few errands in this look as well. So I did wear out, but for the most part, I was just around home, but I had so much fun creating this look. I used this matte pink shade through the crease, deepened up the outer corner with the purple, and then I also packed those 2 on the lid, kind of a little ombre look, and then tapped the white shade over that just to give it a little bit of shimmer. Then I used this dark blue as the liner, put this lighter blue in the inner corner and tapped that over with the shimmery white as well, and I was really happy with how this look turned out. This is not a palette that I use all that often just because it is on the more colorful side, but it is one that I have a lot of fun playing with when I do reach for it, and I am really happy that this project kind of forced me to use it, and I came up with this look, and I really love how it turned out. Next up, we have my Ulta Hufflepuff palette. So here is what this one looks like. So I know I said in the update where I rolled this palette in that I was probably going to reach for the yellows, and I didn't reach for the yellow for the look that I created because I was really trying to get use out of the other shades in this palette. So I'll insert a picture of the look that I did create. So for this look, I used the shade Earth through the crease, blended it out with Sherbet, and then I packed Rust in the outer corner. I think I used a little bit of Honest to try and deepen up the look as well, and kind of went back and forth between the two matte shades there to deepen up the outer corner. Packed Rust kind of in the outer corner across the lid, and then did the shade Lumos in the inner corner. That is a stunning inner corner shade. I absolutely love it. But I was really happy with how this look came out, and I was happy I pushed myself to reach for something other than the yellow in this palette. I did also reach for this palette again in combination with the Wet n Wild palette, and I did use the yellow for that look because I did want to reach for it this month. But for my look for this project, I was happy to reach for the more purpley shades. They are really nice shades as well. This yellow is my favorite in my collection, and I absolutely love it, but the other shades in here definitely deserve some love and attention, so I am happy that I got to use those this month. Alright, next up we have my Nabla Poison Garden palette. I love this palette. I think I found a new appreciation for it after this month of use. So here's what this one looks like. I hope you can see the actual colors. It's really hard to show with the gold packaging. But I will insert a picture of the look that I created. So this look is one that I have been wanting to create since I got this palette. I was so excited to play with the more purpley pink shades in this palette. So I used the shade Zen through the crease, deepened it up with Berry Bite, and then Opera in the outer corner, and then I packed some of fabric kind of in the center of the lid, blending with Opera, and then I did Rosita in the inner portion of the lid, and then put Adoration in the inner corner, and I really love how this look came out. I just thought it was so pretty, and the shades performed so nicely, and this look actually inspired me to create a video with this palette. So that one went up last week. I did a kind of orangey look with this palette and brought in the blue as well, so I will link that look or that video if you want to check that out as well. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the look for this one came out. I think the performance of this palette is really nice, and it makes me excited to continue to play with this palette. Alright, last but not least, we have my BH Cosmetics Nuvo Neutrals palette. So here is what this one looks like, and I will insert a picture of the look that I created with this palette. Alright, this one's kind of hard to show because this is a bigger palette, but for this look, I just went pretty simple. I used these two blush shades, kind of mixed them together for the inner portion of my crease, and then I used these two shades to do my outer portion of my crease, blended it all out with this super light pink shade, and then for the lid, I used this in the outer corner, and then I kind of did a little gradient from this to this to this, from outer to inner corner, and then I packed this one in the inner corner as well, and it just created a nice little pinky purple look. It was super simple, pretty subtle, but I really enjoyed how this look came out, and I really do enjoy reaching for this palette and creating different looks with it as well. So this palette is definitely one that I continue to enjoy in my collection. It's a very nice neutral palette to have. I think it offers quite a bit of variety within the neutral realm, so I am super happy to have this palette and to have reached for it this past month. So those are the 5 looks that I created with the 5 palettes I had in for the month of June. Let me know which of those was your favorite look, and we can get into choosing our palettes for July. Alright, so I have my list of palettes that are eligible for this project.
I do take out whatever palettes have already been in from this year. So right now I have 50 palettes that are eligible for this project. So I have my Pretty Random app set from 1 to 50, so we will randomize 5 palettes. Number 2. So number 2 is my Tarte Toasted palette. Super excited about that one. Number 39. That is my Hot Topic Pokemon palette. That is definitely one I do need to reach for more often, so I'm super happy it's being rolled into this project. Number 25 is my Nomad America's Parks palette. I have been reaching for that somewhat recently, and it makes me so excited every time I reach into that palette, so that is going to be a fun one. Number 40 is my I Heart Revolution Mulan palette. Not my favorite palette in my collection, but it's probably good that it's getting rolled into this project. It will kind of force me to reach for it a little bit. And then I think we have one more to choose. We get number 49. And that is my I Heart Revolution Tangled palette. So 2 of my I Heart Revolution Princess palettes, and that one I really love. So I'm excited. So I will go grab all of these palettes and be right back. Alright, I have my 5 palettes here, so I will go through each of these really quickly and show you what we will be working with. So first up was my Tarte Toasted palette. This is a nice warm tone palette. So here are what these shades look like. This is a palette I typically reach for more in the fall, but I have been trying to slowly work towards getting pan and cashmere, so this will get me a little bit closer to that. So super excited about this. This is always a good one to reach for. Next up we have my Hot Topic Pokemon palette. This is so cute. So here is what this one looks like on the inside. This is actually a really nice summery palette, so I'm really happy it got rolled in this month. I really enjoy reaching for oranges and blues, that combo during the summer, so this will definitely be a good one to reach for this month. Then we have my Nomad America's Parks palette. I also recently did a video with this one, so I will be sure to link that one as well, but I absolutely love this palette. The colors in here are so pretty. It's not the most everyday in my personal opinion, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. So I am very, very excited that this got rolled in, and I cannot wait to see what kind of look I create with it. Alright, then the first princess palette that we rolled in was my I Heart Revolution Mulan palette. So here is what this one looks like. These shades are a bit darker and colorful, and there aren't too many shimmers in this palette, so just the overall color scheme of this kind of confuses me. So this one's definitely going to be the trickiest one for me to use, but I'm up for the challenge and I'm excited to see what look I create with it this month. And then my other princess palette that is in is the Tangled palette. This is one of the ones that just came out, and I'm so excited that this got rolled in. I've been wanting to reach for this again, so here is what this one looks like. Lots of beautiful colors, and I am just so excited to create a look with this palette this month, at least one. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. So those are the 5 palettes that will be in for the month of July. I am super excited to create my looks with these 5 palettes. I think it will be a lot of fun, and it will give me a chance to reach for some palettes that I don't reach for that often. So very excited. Let me know what you guys think of this project, what you think of the palettes that have rolled in, and any changes you might like to see. Let me know also what else you would like to see from me. I know I do a lot of eyeshadow palette content, so if there are any specific videos you want to see, please do let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. I typically update this project the first Tuesday of every month. If you are interested in keeping up with that, I also have a playlist that I will link down below. So with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!